So, in this Lunch and Learn, I'm going to be speaking to you about content, but from a different perspective. I'm going to be speaking about the distribution of your content. A lot of people speak about the creation of it, which is actually a small portion of achieving visibility. So, if you're on live, say hi, let me know that you're here. Let me know that you are rocking with me. I'm streaming across a few platforms. So, hop over to the platform that works best for you. If that is YouTube, LinkedIn, and I'm actually streaming, I think, on Facebook today. So happy Monday. I hope you've had a fantastic weekend. As I said, I'm talking about content, but from a distribution perspective. And you might be like, well, what is she on about? All will be revealed. All will be revealed. So let me know if you're on and you can hear me. I'll do the customary device check to make sure that I am streaming and I'm not just chattering away to myself. Let me know if you've got your lunch. All right, I can see me. Let me just quickly. Yep, okay, I can hear myself. All right, amazing. Guys, let me know. Do you have your lunch? What do you have? I'm going to have my lunch after because, as I said last week, it's to be chopping and chewing while delivering content. Hey Jackie, you are on. How are you? I hope you're well. Let me know what you've got for lunch because this is a lunch and learn. Asim, hey, welcome back. You're online. Happy Monday to you as well. I hope you're doing well. So, guys, content, right? That is often the pain point for many entrepreneurs, many small business owners. We are building a business, and content has just become one of the necessities of having your business online. Hey, Charlene, how are you? Lovely. Good to see you. Ratna, come on in. Happy to be here and you can hear me. Amazing. Great, great, great. All right, guys, let's get into it because you know your girl can be long-winded and verbose, and I don't want to keep you here until 4 p.m. Right. So I have slides today because there's some elements that I kind of want to dig into a little bit more. Jackie said that she has, what have you got, Jax? Lunch is coffee and water at the moment. Fair enough. I get you. I get it. I get it. And Ratna has, you've got a cuppa. All right, cool. So I don't feel like I'm missing out because I don't have anything. I'm like the kid with that forgot to bring their lunch. Right. So the first thing I want to show you before we get into it, I operate in my community, the LinkedIn Strategy Lab, across a really simple 4-step pathway. So the first and most important step is optimizing your profile on LinkedIn. The second step is the content that you put out, and that is where we are camped today. We are in the second step. So we're talking about content, but not from a creation perspective, more from a distribution. The third step is around pipeline. So building out interested people and nurturing them along the buyer's journey. And then the fourth step is that conversion of those people in the pipeline who drop out the other side to clients, and how you kind of manage that as the back end processes that have to happen. So I wanted to just let you know what the pathway is, where we're sat today, and let's get into the content. Let me know, in terms of content, how often are you posting? That would be a good thing for me to know while I get my slides together. Not together, while I get them on screen. All right, I want to screen share. What I should have done. Yeah, no, we're not going to do that. Window this. You're going to see all my messy tabs. Okay, it doesn't show you. Oh, it does. It does. I have a lot of Canva tabs open. So yeah, you'll have to just ignore. Let's see if I can make it look have a bit of modesty. Let's see. What can you guys see now? Is it still sharing? No. Mm-mm-mm. All right, we'll get there. We will get there. We'll absolutely get there. All right, let's bring this. What I should have done is close them all because they look all the way messy. Guys, drop in the chat. Let me know in terms of content, how often are you putting content out on LinkedIn? What does that look like for you? Sim. Drop. Either attend an event that you've recently with the creation of your post, a very small portion of the visibility process, right? The distribution of that post is the most important thing, because if you create it but nobody sees it, then it's like, well, what was the point? Ratner says, aim to post at least 4 times a week. Okay, that's a really strong like posting cadence. Amazing. If you are able to stick with it, great. And I often encourage clients to post at least 3 times a week if you're just getting started, you know, like once a week to kind of get you going, and then aiming to build up to the 3 times a week. Jackie said, my posting is kind of like feast and famine at the moment, but I'm aiming for 2 to 3 times per week. So what I show you, I hope will help you to get more of a result from those 2 or 3 posts per week. Because if you're posting them and not, we almost need to be, I don't know if you guys have heard Gary Vee use the analogy of like, we need to be like our own media channel. We need to be like BBC or Channel 4 or Sky News. I can't think of any internet, Fox News, right? That's what we need to be. Creating it is only half of the battle, only half of the battle. So I hope that you guys, I'm breaking up. All right, guys, give me a second. I'm going to connect. I'm going to plug into my router. Give me a second. Give me a second. sure because it's not okay. All right. Am I back? I hope. Listen, I warned you last week, right? The tech is gonna do. Um, and you just have to roll with it. So let me and hear me. Let me know if I'm back. And while I'm waiting, yeah, okay, amazing. Hopefully, I don't drop out. Hey, Andrea, good to see you. Hopefully, I don't drop out, but who knows? Who knows with I don't want to name and shame, right? But let's get into it. The core idea behind this session is all around distribution of your content, right? So, your content, as I've said, is a very, or the creation of it is a very small portion. What you want is a spark, right? And that spark is the distribution. If you just create the content, but you don't have the spark, you've got the match, but you don't add the oxygen, it's never going to catch fire. You're never going to get it in front of the people that need to see it. And we need to create that fire ourselves, right? And that actually determines the visibility, the reach, the impressions, because we actually crank the handle, right? We're our own, as I've said, media channel. So I'm going to be showing you how, like, just creating more content isn't actually the solution to your problem. But being intentional with how you get it in front of people, that is exactly where you need to camp. So I've moved my slides along and it is not. Oh, the tech is having a laugh today. Why is it not moving along? Still breaking up. It's better now. All right. All right, guys, the tech, my heart, I can't take it. I think it's okay now, but for some reason, my slides aren't moving along. Listen, somebody doesn't want you to get this information, but I'm gonna get it out, right? I am going to get it out. Let us start this whole thing again because now I've connected to the router. I'm going to restart all the things. Right, so let's close this. Bear with me, guys. I appreciate your patience, but these are the joys and the fun bits that we have to endure while going live. All right. While you watch me try and figure it all out on the fly. Right, I'm going to add a new scene, add the media. Right, so this was supposed to be half an hour, but if you need to jump off before I conclude, the replay will stay up, so don't worry about that. Okay, I'm going to add. All right, guys, let's try again. Right, and hopefully my slides will move along. All right, so this is wild. I've never had this before. They're literally not moving. They are not moving. Oh, Jackie, you're kind. You said, it will be worthwhile. Right. Maybe I'll just talk to the slides and not show you. Right? How about that? Maybe that's the solution. Or what I'll do is I'll start to deliver it. And then what I'll do is try downloading it as a PDF and seeing maybe it could be an issue with Canva, actually, seeing if yeah. So basically, there is a post and pray trap, right? So we post, we don't get the results that we're hoping for, and we think just continue to do more. Just continue to. Oh, it is. All right. There's a lot happening. There is an absolute lot happening. I'm going to download them as a PDF. Mm. You said it was clearer before. Yikes. Let's try with the PDF and see if that helps. Media. It's processing. Give it a moment, guys. All right, let's have a chat. Wow, it does that. What did you do on your weekend? What did you get up to? I'm running a visibility challenge inside of my community. So, yeah, it's 7 days of talk content. So, I've been literally creating videos, editing. Right. This looks like we may have progress. Yay! Okay, I can flick through. Amazing. Right. So, if you're still here, please forgive me. And if you're just jumping on, then you won't know all of the nonsense that just happened before. You said it's also good for us to see how leaders navigate issues on the fly. Yeah, probably should have turned the camera off because my face probably looked uh, hella panicked, right? So I probably should have turned the camera off. Ratner said, yes, your voice will inspire us anyhow. Yeah, luckily the slides are here now, so we are good to go. But essentially, most creators, entrepreneurs, right? What we fall into the trap of is believing if we're not getting the results, we need to do more. We need to post more. We need to just do more. And ultimately, that gets us into the spiral of burnout, right? So, what we start to do is prioritize like volume over actually stopping and thinking, what is the best strategy? What is the best mechanism to get this in front of the right people? I asked for you guys to drop in how often you are posting and what that looks like for you, because maybe you are falling into that trap of the post and pray, post and cross your fingers, post and hope that it all goes to plan. I want to give you an analogy of why this is not such a good idea. So think of like a conference, right? An industry conference that you've paid probably thousands to exhibit at. It is like turning up, right? Getting your brochures and putting them on a table in a dark corner and just hoping that somebody will come over to the table. You're not there. You're just hoping that somebody will come over and pick up the brochure, scan your QR code and sign up for your service. If I can just reframe that, it's not going to happen. It's not. It is not going to happen. There's an onus on you as the exhibitor to almost work the room, right? To be intentional with finding the people to converse with finding the people to get that literature into their hands, right? If you just kind of sit and hope that someone is going to just walk by and stumble across your table, it's very unlikely. So distribution is really about, we're bringing this back to LinkedIn. Distribution is about you actually getting up and walk in the room. And I'm going to show you what that looks like on LinkedIn to make sure that your content gets seen by the right people, that your content is getting the right reach. So I mentioned a very small portion of your content creation is to do with actually creating it. And it looks like probably around 30% is the time that you may spend writing it or editing it if you're doing a video, filming it, right? The other 70%, if you're going after visibility, it's the work that happens after it's already been created. And a lot of us stop at that 30%. We think, oh, they said post 3 times, tick, I've posted, and we like back away and get on with business, which I get, right? We're in business to do the business, to deliver the service, to serve our clients, all those things. But if you're not intentional with distributing it, then that 30% was wasted and you may as well have just like done something else. So we need to be intentional with joining conversations on LinkedIn, with introducing yourself to individuals, with directing and signposting people back to your table. And your table are your content pieces. It's directing people back to the content that you've already created. So there are three pillars when it comes to distributing your content. Right. And a lot of us have done the avatar work, right? I would hope. Maybe if you're just getting started, let me not assume. So, spending time understanding who it is that you want to get in front of and being really crystal clear with that, your content will do better, far better, if it is put in front of the right people. If you have built a network of randos who are not interested in what you have to say. They, you know, see your stuff and just scroll by. They're not going to engage with the content. The algorithm is going to see that there are no signals of engagement. There's no signals of comments or reposts or anything like that. And then what LinkedIn does is it shows your content to less and less people. It tests initially on a small group of your existing network. And if there is no engagement, then it deems your content to be not very relevant or engaging. So the who is very important and you have to define that. You have to have clarity around that. The second thing is the where. And the where, in terms of where on LinkedIn, I know like there's work that we do around what platform. Like I'm going to assume we've already decided the platform we're choosing is LinkedIn as our main marketing tool, our main marketing platform. So finding out where your who's are hanging out on LinkedIn is massively important. And by where, that could be in other people's content, that could be in hashtags, it could be in groups, it could be they may follow particular influencers, maybe they follow particular brands, businesses. You want to be where they are. Right, you standing in a dark corner by yourself with your leaflet, right? Nobody's seeing it. So we need to go to where they are. We need to move from passive posting to active distribution, right? And these are the pillars. The third one is like the tactics, the how, in terms of how you get the distribution. And we'll get into the I'm going to share one of the tactics that you can leverage for how you get your content seen. Right. So just with these three pillars, what your content is able to become is discoverable. And that's what we want. We're not just creating content just for the sake of it, unless you just like writing perhaps or recording videos and this is a hobby, right? I would suggest that you want your content to be seen by the right people. You're not just publishing for publishing's sake. Let me know, guys, if you are following. Let me know if I've said anything that you're like, oh my gosh, that resonates, or Shalina, you've lost me. I'm coming back to the comments to see what's happening here. Hey, Lisa. Elegantly composed as always. Yeah, if you saw like under the table, it was a whole swan moment, right? Let's continue. I love to hear what you guys say, right? As much as I want to teach, I want this to be engaging. It'll be worthwhile. Audibly would be fine. Thank you, Charlene. Jackie, our hashtags, I'd forgotten to follow those. Yeah, you can absolutely still follow hashtags, right? So they don't, in terms of your content, they don't get you the same reach necessarily, because LinkedIn and most platforms now are focused on the phrases, the keywords that you're using as opposed to hashtags. But Individuals are still using hashtags and some people still follow hashtags, right? So if you can show up where they are, you're going to get yourself in front of them. Asim said, great analogy about standing in the room and hoping. Yeah, it's pointless, right? Especially in the conference analogy. You've paid so much to exhibit. With LinkedIn, we're paying with our time, right? This is time away from our loved ones to create this content, to engage, to do all the things. So you're paying either way. So you really do want to be intentional with getting the content in front of the right people. So these are the 3 pillars for distribution. These are the 3 things that you need to be intentional with when it comes to getting your content in front of the right people. So I spent ages like going into the detail and I forgot I had a slide that did exactly that. Let me see if I forgot anything that I wanted to say. So you must understand specifically what they care about. Relevance is really important, and relevance is big on LinkedIn at the moment. It's not so much about the timeliness necessarily of your post, but LinkedIn are looking to see how relevant is this to the people that read the post, right? Are they saving it? Are they sharing it? Are they commenting on it? All those are signals of relevance. If they just scroll by, then LinkedIn deems your content to not be very relevant. I've also got here, crucially, you must ignore what they ignore. No, crucially, you must know what they ignore. That was the right way around. Understanding what they're not interested in means you don't spend time talking about it. You don't waste your effort um, positioning or messaging around things that are not going to hook them, is not going to be compelling, right? So that whole notion of writing for everyone or creating content for everyone means you end up resonating with nobody, right? So the clarity that comes about from when you understand your person allows you to distribute more effectively. All right, let's move on. So this was literally just unpacking like the wheres. So industry groups on LinkedIn. How many of you are in groups? Let me know in the chat. They are not, and this could just be from my experience, just from my niche. The groups can be quite quiet, but maybe in your niche, like I wouldn't like to say, oh, don't bother, test and see, right? Groups, leaders on LinkedIn, mining their comments, because that's where the people are hanging out, in the comments of leaders in your niche, the niche hashtags, and then influencer posts. So all of this allows you as a tactic to distribute your content. Ratner says, thank you for the reminder. What is my who? Sorry, guys, my eyes are doing the most. What is my why to be here? Yeah, you have to have clarity around that. So in terms of the tactics, there are 6 um tactics that you can leverage. So pillar 3 was all around like the how are you going to do this, right? So we've got strategic commenting, engagement loops, being involved in relevant conversations, leading with value first, reframing and repurposing. Now, for the purposes of time, I'm going to unpack one of them, but I'll also let you know how you can learn about the remainder, how you can understand how you can leverage all 6. So let's jump into what that looks like. So the one that I'm going to share with you is around strategic commenting. A lot of people spend more time posting, not distributing, and then failing to engage with anybody else on LinkedIn. They don't comment, they don't support or repost or ask questions or do anything outside of posting. As I said, you're like, they said post 3 times, tick, right? But when you comment strategically, what you're creating is like a mini billboard. You're not advertising, you're not selling on somebody's content, but what you're doing is positioning yourself as the authority, or positioning yourself as an expert, right? In a post, in a conversation that's already happening on LinkedIn. So, how many of you are being strategic with how you comment? The majority of individuals on LinkedIn are commenting on posts that are not relevant to what they do. They're commenting on posts that are not linked to the offers that they have. Often it's people that we know, we're friends with, we're in the same communities. And while that is a good thing, right? It's good to support your friends, your peers. It doesn't get you much traction. It's not going to get you the result that you're ultimately hoping for. So let me know, what does commenting look like for you? Are you intentional with how you're commenting on LinkedIn? Drop it in the chat and let me know. So, as I said, don't randomly comment, right? Don't spend time commenting on things that are not going to bear fruit, right? Don't spend time engaging with posts that your ideal people are not looking at. They're not reading themselves. Because then what happens is you're just like in an echo chamber, right? Of, I don't know, maybe people in your sector, your friends, all kind of backslapping and like celebrating each other, which, don't hear what I'm not saying. It's a good thing to do, but we don't want to only do that. So for the example that I've given, if you help small business owners, like commenting on like bigger platforms that maybe even have like software for business owners, maybe like an accounting firm, right? Because they attract small business owners, comment in maybe on Zero, or I'm trying to remember, I've forgotten the other one, right? But you're thinking strategically, where are the people hanging out? Who are they engaging with? And that is where you want to give your time, right? So your comment becomes almost like a signpost for driving traffic back to your profile, but also there may occur an opportunity for you to signpost them to a piece of content that's relevant, maybe to a conversation that's either already being had or you initiate, right? So this is how you start to get your content in front of other people. You start to get your content seen, literally from a post that you didn't create, right? But you've just set time aside to be intentional with searching on LinkedIn to find those conversations that are happening. Let me know, what does commenting look like for you? Ratner said, thank you for the oh no, that wasn't the one I wanted to read. It was this one here. You said, yes, I'm in leadership groups and you found them quite quiet. And you know what? This is like a double-sided coin, because sometimes we go into groups and you're like, oh, it's quiet, I won't say anything. And then on the other side of the coin, it's like, great, it's quiet. I've got a captive audience. Let me start to position myself. Let me start to initiate the conversations. And we're leaders, right? We're all leaders. So let's lead the conversation. So yeah, think of groups as I said in two ways. They really do provide an opportunity, because the people have joined that group for a particular reason. So they're raising their hand, they're giving a signal that this is of interest to me. So they're in that group for that particular reason. So leverage that. Jackie says, I'm better at hanging in comments of my ICA than posting. And that's a strategy. That is a powerful strategy. You do need to pair it with some content to direct people to, making sure as well that your profile is very strong and credible, so that as a result of those conversations, people are going to check you out. They're going to be intrigued by you. So you want to make sure that you have set your profile up as what I like to call like a storefront. So people know what you do, who you help, and what the next step, like how do I either get more of what you share, or how do I get onto a call with you, or how do I sign up for what you have? So having a next step is really important. Okay, you went on to say, I think I could be more strategic with where I comment. Yeah, using the search to find the conversations that are happening, and rather than responding to the ones that algo brings to my feed. And what I would say in regards to that is the more that you are having the right conversations, the algorithm will start to send more of that to you. It will send you what you engage with and what you talk about. So if you are engaging with the wrong things, it's going to continue sending you more of the wrong things. So yeah, being intentional and being strategic with that is important. I found strategic comment is bringing opportunities. Amazing. I would not have. I have found strategic comment is bringing opportunities I would not have thought about. Yeah, that is one of the benefits. Such a good point. I need to speak up. Amazing. All right, guys, let me flick on to the next slide. And as I've said, if you need to hop off, um, go ahead and do that. I think I only have like 5 more slides. The replay will stay up. It's on LinkedIn. I should be live on YouTube. I haven't seen any YouTube comments actually, or Facebook. So who knows? But no, Andrea's on YouTube, so I am definitely streaming there. All right, so what I want to do is I want to skip ahead to here. So ultimately, with your posts, right, strategic with intent, better if you posted 7 times for the week, but you oh, it adds the platform, right? So maybe there was I alluded to this where you were saying like you're doing 2 to 3, and that's fine, but you need to be with getting it in front of people. It's glitching again. Oh my goodness. I'm connected to the router, so I'm not sure what to say. Hopefully the playback will be okay. Hopefully the playback will be okay. So strange. So strange. But I'm going to continue on the off chance that the playback is okay, and then you can just watch it on replay, right? So those 3 posts that you distribute, there are, as I've said, 6 other strategies that you can utilize to get those posts in front of your ideal people. I'll be sharing those 6 strategies in is the community is free for you to join, get to attend that workshop. How you put up my QR code because I don't have that up, right? So LinkedIn is a priority and you want to um, be in a community of individuals who are intentionally going after growth with their business on LinkedIn, then you want to be inside of the community. I deliver weekly strategies, well, fortnightly strategies now, because I think it was probably a little overwhelming for the members. So, fortnightly strategies, and then we have weekly client clinics that you can come to. There are free planning sessions. So each Monday, all tiers, whether you're free or paid, you can come along to a planning session to help you to plan how you show up on LinkedIn so that you're not kind of groping in the dark. You're intentional with how you're going to distribute your content, where you're going to distribute it. Um, yeah, if we don't have a plan, then we ultimately plan to fail. So let me put the QR code back up, and I hope you heard some of that at the very least, right? So I'm going to be taking you through those remaining and going into more detail with that particular strategy that I showed you. But ultimately, what I want you to come away with from this session is that you have to be intentional with getting your content seen. If you do not um, become your own media channel, your content will just sit on your profile and you're scratching your head wondering, why is nobody engaging, why am I not converting anybody? In that masterclass, I'll just show you as well a 10-minute distribution routine. So it does not have to take, hours of your time. Really simply and straightforward, you can start to get your content out, get it in front of more people. So let me know if you have any questions. Get inside of the LinkedIn Strategy Lab, that masterclass. I haven't set a date for it yet because we're in the throes of the challenge at the moment, but more than likely it will probably be in the next 2 or 3 weeks. But get inside of the lab anyway, because there's strategies that you can start to leverage, there's conversations you can start to be a part of, and if you want to also join the visibility challenge, it will run again in March. So drop any questions if you're still here, if the tech hasn't scared you off. Right, let me know if you have any questions, and I'm more than happy to stay on and answer. And equally, come into the strategy lab and ask your questions, right? So when you join, you have to take a screenshot of your profile and engage on some of the posts in there to be able to post, right? And that is purely for the reasons of trying to deter spammers, right, who get into communities to just sell crypto and to scam people, right? I'm going to imagine no one's going to, well, are they going to spend time sharing their profile and giving me their link and doing all those things? So that's the reason why and also it helps me to know who's in the community and where you're at with your profile. Taking that screenshot as well helps you to have a baseline so that, after a month of being in the lab, 2 months, you've got something to kind of reflect on, to assess against and see how you've progressed. Guys, let me know if you have any questions, if you are still on. I'm going to open LinkedIn on my phone because maybe the questions aren't showing. No, I think we're caught up with any comments. I hope this has been helpful. If you're wanting to go deeper into how to distribute your content, then hop into the LinkedIn Strategy Lab and look out for the details when I announce the details of the masterclass. All right, guys, thank you so much for your attention. Hopefully the replay will not be glitching, and then I'll share the replay with you. All right, right now you are still on. Amazing. Thank you for enduring as I had tech problems. Last week I said that, like, when you're on live, you just have to roll with it. You just have to expect that something's going to go wrong. And this was this was my turn. All right, guys, enjoy the rest of your day. Feel free to send me a DM if you have any follow-on questions. The link, if you can't scan the QR code, the link will also be in the post for this event on LinkedIn, and it's also in the post on YouTube. So you will be able to hop into the LinkedIn Strategy Lab. Thank you for joining, Jackie. Great to see you as always. Enjoy the rest of your day. And if you are in the LinkedIn Strategy Lab, then come along to the planning session on Monday, especially if you're doing the visibility challenge. Come along and plan your content for the week. You are very welcome, Charlene. Good to see you. All right, guys, take care.